What's up, everyone? Zero here. So, Grinding Gear Games had their live stream yesterday, and they released somewhat of a banger. It's not as big as some of the updates that they've done for PoE 1. A lot of people received it a little bit differently than I thought they would, but I'm still glad. We have to remember this is early access. They're going to be incrementally releasing this stuff. I'm pretty bummed out that the Druid wasn't released, but they did release a lot of stuff. So we are getting the Huntress, and we are getting a new weapon type, which is going to be spears. The Huntress is going to be released with two ascendancies. There's going to be the Amazon and the Ritualist. So the Ritualist is going to allow you to get an extra ring slot once you pick one of the downsides. They have negative elemental resistances, reduce spirit, or reduce maximum mana, and then once you pick that downside, then you're going to be able to get a ring slot. The next one is going to give you bonuses to equipped rings and amulets, 25%. So it's kind of like a miniature ingenuity. They also have a node which gives you an additional charm slot and then 20% more charm charges gained. And then it also has ritual sacrifice. This looks really cool. If you're familiar with the Headhunter from PoE 1, it's kind of like that. It allows you to steal modifiers from rare monsters. Looks pretty badass, actually. Can't wait to try that out. The Amazon has some really cool stuff, especially with the movement speed and skill speed. So this looks like it's going to be a really fast moving ascendancy. Also has some potential for some high critical hit chance. So that's going to be really cool. I'm sure somebody's going to come up with some busted stuff. I'm really not that much of a theory crafter, although I do try from time to time. And then we also got 3 other ascendancies. I know people were kind of bummed out that we didn't get all the extra ascendancies. But the Smith of Katava for the warrior, in this ascendancy, it's giving us manifest weapons. So that's going to kind of be like animate weapon from PoE 1. Looks pretty cool. They gave us something called temper weapon, which is really strange because you have to stand still for 3 to 4 seconds and like temper your weapon. I don't know what it is, and I guess they're just trying to slow us down, but I guess we'll see. One of the cool things in the Smith of Katava is that it has modifiers to maximum fire resistance, also grant cold and lightning resistance. So this is like the Chieftain node that's in PoE 1. I believe it's the Chieftain, the one that allows your fire resistance to apply to all elemental damage. So that's pretty cool. Now, here is the ascendancy that I've really been waiting for. The Lich, which is going to be the 3rd Witch ascendancy. This is going to be a straight chaos damage, curse ascendancy. It's giving us cursed enemies killed explode for a quarter of their maximum life as chaos damage. It's giving us the node from the passive tree in PoE 1 where you can apply an additional curse. Also, it is giving us the occultist one that allows us to curse hex-proof enemies. It's also giving us a modifier which is kind of interesting. Your life cannot change while you have energy shield. If you look at max roll, what they are saying is that modifiers like damage taken bypasses energy shield, or modifiers like damage over time bypasses your energy shield. They're saying that that's going to make you immune to that. I don't really think it's worded like that, but I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. And then next we have the Tactician, which is one of the other ones that was teased a little while ago. And this is going to be the 3rd mercenary ascendancy. This is going to give us a massive reservation efficiency for persistent buffs, so you'll be able to fit more in there. It's also going to allow you to place multiple banners, projectile damages, build pin. So pinned enemies cannot perform actions, so this kind of changes pin into a freeze mechanic. And then it also grants a skill called Supporting Fire, which from the reveal looks like there was just like a rain of arrows firing from off the screen. So maybe with the new support gems, we'll be able to turn that into something really cool. They are adding 100+ new support gems. So obviously, I don't know all of them. We'll just have to see once they release the patch notes what is out there. They did tease a couple of them, and from what I can tell, they look pretty cool. They also said 100 plus new uniques. So this is a lot of content that's coming into the game. I know it's not the content that a lot of people were expecting. I think people were really expecting all 3 ascendancies for all the classes, that we were going to get the Huntress and the Druid. I don't really know what they're trying to do, if they're just trying to release them incrementally, but I do remember them saying that the Druid and the Huntress were pretty much done. So I don't know what it is. Maybe they're just waiting for the next update to release the Druid. They're adding a new mechanic called Asmirian Wisps, and this is going to be a new way to empower monsters, and it's going to give us a new thing called Talismans. And what these are socketables, and they look pretty cool. However, they can only socket in specific armor types. So the ones that they showed us was the glove one gives gain rage on melee hit. The boots hits against you have 10% reduced critical chance bonus, critical damage bonus. And then body armor one said corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. All in all, they look pretty powerful. They're changing the end game quests. So now you no longer have to complete X amount of tier 1 maps, X amount of tier 2 maps, etc. Now you are going to fight your way to the center of corruption, defeat the special boss encounter in order to cleanse the surrounding area of corruption. Corrupted maps that you run in order to reach the final boss are now more interesting, and all remaining corrupted maps turn into cleansed maps upon defeating the corrupted boss. These cleansed maps contain new monsters and a new boss and their own set of modifiers and rewards. So now what they are giving us is fracturing orbs. Now, if you don't know what a fracturing orb is, it turns a random modifier into a permanent affix on the item. So what this means is it's giving us a little bit more determinism when it comes to crafting. So now what we can do is, instead of just exalting and if you don't hit, just trash the item, now we have a chance to actually freeze one of the modifiers on the item. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work with the way that they are doing crafting, but it is giving us a little bit more determinism. And what I'm hoping for is by the full release of the game that we will have a full deterministic crafting system in the game. They are also adding recombinators from PoE 1. This is also pretty cool. What this is going to allow you to do is combine 2 items to create one powerful item. So you find one item that has a couple affixes that you want. You find another item that has a couple affixes you want. You can combine them. And if it's successful, then it'll create the item with those affixes. The main difference that they're doing in this one is they are allowing you to choose the affixes that you want to recombinate. In PoE 1, they did not do that. It was all just random. They had like a percentage chance based on the affix pool. It got pretty complicated, but this looks like it's going to be a little bit less complicated, a little bit more user-friendly, and it is going to use the expedition currency. So instead of doing ROG crafting or Gwenin crafting like you do currently in PoE 2, you're going to have to figure out what you want to use your expedition currency on. Now, if the item fails to recombinate, because it does have a chance of failure, the item will be completely destroyed. They also mentioned that higher tier affixes are going to be less rare to act for success. Now, when it comes to mapping, they are giving us more than one portal, kind of. Depending on how many affixes you have on the map itself is going to determine how many portals you have. So if you have no modifiers on it, you are going to have 6 portals. And then it goes down the more modifiers you put on the map. The other thing they changed is the experience loss from pinnacle encounters. So now you are not going to gain experience when you're in the pinnacle encounter, but if you die, you are no longer going to lose it, which is pretty cool. Finally, the tower change that they made. So now towers are going to be a lot more rare, but they are going to be much, much stronger. Now they add twice as many mechanics, and they affect more surrounding maps based on what waystone tier you use to clear the tower, up to 100% more. Now towers are able to consume 3 tablets, depending on how many mods the tower waystone had. It grants 1 slot by default, 2 tablets for 3 mod waystones, and then 3 tablets for 6 mod waystones. And now towers also have all the mechanics that can spawn in a regular map, which is pretty badass. And they are also adding unique tablets. They showed one where it allows you to jump the gap in the map, so that's pretty cool. They are also adding unique maps, which are going to have special encounters and unique rewards. They're adding a tier system for the runes because they realize that you just outlevel the runes. So now you can get greater runes, which looks pretty cool. It's just the same modifiers that were on the regular runes. They're just going to be more powerful. They're adding 2 new bases. One is going to be an amulet, and the other one's going to be a dusk ring. These are kind of like the helical ring and the simplex amulet in PoE 1. If you aren't familiar, it's -2 prefixes and +2 suffixes allowed on the amulet, and then +1 prefix and -1 suffix on the ring. So you can actually make some pretty powerful items with that. Those will probably be worth a lot as they are in PoE 1. They are now making greater essences a lot more common. Thank God. They're adding a new mechanic in the game called Rogue Exiles. What these are going to be are monsters that pretty much jump out and attack you in the map. So it's pretty much just like walking down the street and just getting jumped by a random group of people. However, this group of people can have unique items. They will have regular items that are from the game. It's going to be like fighting another character, like PvP style. And the cool thing is the items that they have on them, you can see under their health bar, and they will drop those items if you succeed in killing them. They are also adding unique strong boxes. They went on into the Q&A section and pretty much discussed everything that I just discussed. However, they did add a couple of things. The patch notes are essentially going to be a nerf fest. So they pretty much said, forget everything that you know about the meta builds because everything is changing, which is kind of cool. It kind of needed a shake up because everybody was just running the same exact builds no matter what they were playing. It was either double heralds or ingenuity or hands of, or the unique gloves for stacking. Now the heralds are not going to proc off of each other anymore, so that's going to be a wrap. There's going to be no more of just blowing up screens of enemies. They did mention that dynamic controller and keyboard swap is not coming till 0.3.0, which is kind of weird because they mentioned before that it was almost ready and they were about to add it in, but then something happened and then they didn't end up adding it. So I don't know what the delay is on that. That's really, really strange to me because every other ARPG that uses a controller has that. Very, very strange why they don't have it in this game. I'm still excited. They are making a lot of changes to Energy Shield. Grim Feast is going to get nerfed to the ground. I'm almost 100% positive. They did mention that it's changing a lot, which usually means it's going to be nerfed. They did say that armor, they're going to just have to go back to the drawing board on that. So the defenses in this next patch are going to be pretty interesting. We'll have to see what we can come up with. That's pretty much it. All in all, I thought it was a good patch. I don't really have too much of an expectation on what these guys should be releasing, but I know a lot of people really felt let down by it. I will just say that it is still early access, and I'm sure that there are going to be a lot more updates coming. I'm at least holding out hope. I know they mentioned that they were going to be releasing updates rapid fire. We haven't really seen that yet. So hopefully they step on the gas because they did say there was a 65% chance of full release by the end of the year. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but 65% chance is still greater than 50-50. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully that helped you out a little bit. If you guys didn't want to watch the full live stream and Q&A, it was pretty long. Like and subscribe if you guys liked the video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.